What's up guys? Pokémon Legends Arceus has been out for roughly 3 weeks by the time that this video comes out, and I think this is the perfect time to talk about just how amazing this game is. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how I think this game should definitely impact the Pokémon franchise going forward. So needless to say, in this video I'm going to be covering a lot of different things, so definitely check out the description for the timecodes. Now, as the title states, personally I feel like this is the best Pokémon game that Game Freak has put out hands down. And I may be saying it prematurely, but it definitely is one of the greatest Pokemon games, period. I honestly can say, as someone who has been playing Pokemon games since way back when Fire Red and Leaf Green came out, I definitely have not enjoyed playing a Pokemon game anywhere near as much as I have with this game. And that is probably because of a handful of quality of life decisions that Game Freak made for sure, but more on that later. Genuinely, though this game isn't exactly the open world Pokemon game that we were promised, it definitely is essentially open world. I mean, in my personal experience, the first 10 to 15 hours that I spent playing this game, I was just exploring the map because of how huge it is, as well as finding all the different Pokemon on the map and just experiencing what this game had to offer initially. And I had so much fun doing all of that I didn't even decide to do the cleaver fight shown in the trailers until all of my Pokemon's levels were all literally in the late 30s, just because I was having such a blast. And just like I had hoped for in the past videos that I've made about this game is insane with the amount of lore and Easter eggs that it adds to the world. Even down to the subtlest of things, like how in Floroma Town, an NPC talks about how the area that the town now sits on used to be a ground that was barren and avoided by all people and Pokemon alike. But despite that, people tried to plant flowers there, but nothing would grow. And in Legends Arceus, there's a huge area exactly how it was described by that NPC, and no Pokemon spawn in that area or even go near it either. To me, that attention to detail is so commendable, and in my opinion shows that Game Freak really cared about knocking this game out of the park. And that's just one example out of countless. Aside from that, there are so many interactions with the villagers and Pokemon where the villagers learn things that are more or less common knowledge to a long-time Pokemon fan. They learn a variety of things that can go anywhere from something as small as Zubat not having any eyes and using echolocation to see, to Mr. Mime being able to create invisible walls around it, as well as several other things. But to top it all off, you were even given a flute that is a reference to the very mysterious and never officially released Azure flute from the original Diamond and Pearl games. And honestly, if that isn't an insane Easter egg, then I don't know what is. But on top of that reference, there are also references to several other regions and characters throughout all of the games that we played throughout the years. In addition to the ones that we've seen in the trailer representing Mai and Clay, there are also additional characters who are references to Karen, Maxie, Archie, Alder, and so much more. But enough about that. Now, I don't want to go into the story just in case you haven't played the game yourself yet, so let's talk about the game's mechanics, which is more or less an entire overhaul of everything that makes a Pokemon game a Pokemon game. So, as we've seen in the trailers, it is still a turn-based battle, but now there is so much more to a battle than just the speed of any given Pokemon that will factor into who goes first. And those factors, of course, are the strong and agile style, which at first I wasn't sure how impactful these would be, to be honest, because in my opinion, most of the gimmicks in Pokemon games are always exciting in theory, but underwhelming in execution. I was mostly just excited that Game Freak was implementing ways to attack twice in a row, or to give a Pokemon's move an extra punch to speed up the process of the battles. But I was completely wrong, because this gimmick isn't underwhelming whatsoever, and the styles make these battles so much more exciting because honestly, now the battles feel like way more than just static encounters. They definitely make the battles feel a lot more alive to me personally. But speaking of speeding up the process of battles, I think this is something that fans have wanted for such a long time, which is just how fast the introductions to a battle is. Because we all remember in past games it would take such a long time to go through just one single battle, and it would be such an inconvenience if you ended up running into Pokemon that you didn't want to fight. And now, you don't necessarily have to battle at all unless you want to, and even if you do accidentally throw your Pokemon at another one, the battles in this game can literally take less than 10 seconds depending on how strong your Pokemon is. And to me, I think that is a huge quality of life improvement that I know plenty of people have wanted for such a long time. Another quality of life improvement is, though the models of these Pokemon aren't exactly perfect, there is a massive overhaul for a handful of Pokemon models. The one that I'm going to use as an example specifically is Flareon. Now, if you have seen any of my videos on the new Pokemon Snap, I couldn't stress enough how much I loved how Pokemon in that game had textures on their models. And this right here is an amazing step in the right direction. And I would love to see a lot more of this in the future. Now, not only have they improved the Pokemon's models, but they have also improved the animations for attacks. And I'm going to use my lovely Typhlosion in the background as an example. Now, we all remember how Flamethrower has looked in the past few games. It looked fine, but in this game, you can literally feel the power behind the flames. And I know for me, the first time that I used this move, I was shocked about how gorgeous and terrifying it looked at the same time. And I feel like that literally encompasses how I feel about this game as a whole. This game isn't exactly perfect, but it is beautiful and can be very terrifying at times. From the scenery to how alive the world feels, and even the world building as well as the Pokemon. Though I am nowhere near close to finishing this game, I can't wait to experience everything else that this game has to offer. And I am so glad that Game Freak has given us the first Pokemon game in a very long time that has been praised universally. And with the DLC already being announced, I also can't wait to see what Game Freak has in store for the future of not only this game, but also the franchise, which is a perfect transition. Now, I'm going to keep it pretty brief because, as I said, I haven't finished the game yet, so there are most likely going to be some opinions that may end up changing by the time that I finish, but I'm definitely going to be revisiting how this game may impact the future in another video somewhere down the line. Anyways, I genuinely do believe that given the success of this game, as I've said in other videos, may end up making this game a huge cornerstone for Pokemon, which will start a whole new phase of these games, where hopefully we say goodbye to the run-of-the-mill game loop that we've had more or less for the past 20 years, and move on to a whole new system that is reminiscent of this game. I genuinely do believe that we will end up seeing a Legends game for other regions. Specifically, I would love to see one for Kyurem, so we can see what the original dragon that we've heard about non-stop in both of the Black and White games actually looks like, as well as one for Zygarde, which would more or less make up for us never getting the Pokemon Z game that fans have been mourning forever. But honestly, if anything, I think that this game shows that Game Freak is finally listening and has also learned from their past mistakes. But with that being said, let me know how your experience with Pokémon Legends Arceus has been, as well as your thoughts on whether the future games of this franchise will take inspiration from this or not. And thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next one.